Welcome to the Protein Bros podcast. On today's episode, we have a very special guest. We have Elijah Easy Muhammad. He is a guy who is a CrossFit athlete. He's an entrepreneur. He's a previous gym owner. He is a philanthropist, and I think that's what he cares about the most at this current point in his life is being able to give back to underprivileged kids. And we talk about all of those things in this podcast, and it makes for a really, really good conversation. And he's a guy that I've watched from afar when it comes to social media for a long time, and it was so cool to be able to get him in the studio and sit him down and have a real conversation with him. And I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So let's get you guys to the episode. Thank you for coming on the podcast, dude. I think for me personally, watching somebody who's been in the fitness industry for a long time, and I feel like you're growing, your following continues to grow, and your content that you put out is still such great quality content. I think that's the thing that I'm most impressed about, like you watching from afar. And yeah, man, I just wanted to say thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
I guess the first question I got for you, dude, is what is one thing that training has given you that most people wouldn't assume training gives you, or a benefit?
That's a tough one, man.
You lit him up for a first question.
Yeah. I mean, like, this dude that you see here has been this dude that you see here. Like I always felt like I was going to be that guy. I always felt like I was going to accomplish things I was always super like into me. Of like, I'm confident in who I am. I'm confident of my capabilities. Like a lot of things were, I would say training, I feel like, and this is probably like not something that people wouldn't think or people would think, but I feel like it literally gave me superhuman powers. Like, I feel like I can't be fucked with. Like and even though I felt that way, it's like now I'm physically sure. Like I'm physically sure, I'm mentally sure, like it gave me reassurance. And the other thing is I feel like it calmed me down, because when I was smaller, I felt like it was like, maybe I will have to prove myself.
Yeah.
Maybe I will have to like show up and show out, or if I get into something, I have to like show you or try to prove something to you. And I feel like fitness, as I got stronger and bigger and more confident, more capable, I feel like that became like diminished. It was like, I don't have to prove anything to you.
There's a phrase I really love for this. It sounds like you've outworked your self-doubt.
Outworked yourself out.
Your self-doubt.
Your self-doubt. Yeah.
You outworked your self-doubt.
Like as confident as I was, like playing basketball, playing football, playing sports, as confident I was around my friends and my peer groups, as confident I was in, my walk with faith and everything that I was doing. I feel like as I got stronger physically, it was like, I don't have to prove it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just know I'm capable. I don't have to prove it. I don't need to. So I feel like fitness has calmed me down. Like
much more secure as a man.
Yeah.
Sounds like
It's just, and it started like within a year of training. Like within a year, I was just like, I gained 20 pounds in a year.
Mm-hmm. Just
muscle. I was just got bigger, and I was just like, I'm good. Like,
when did that begin for you? When did that journey start?
2010 is when I started CrossFit. I was playing basketball in college, 160 pounds, 165 pounds, my senior year in college, small, super athletic, fast, could jump, move, just agile, always been pretty good with the ball sport. And I got bullied on a basketball court, guy about 6'2", took me to the block, kept calling for the ball. I'm like, nah, this ain't happening. But it happened. And he was just physically more dominant than me. He wasn't as athletic with me, but every time I had to go down the court, I had to maneuver around him and, do certain things. And he was just like, nope, body to body, man to man, give me the ball. And he scored. And I don't know why that hit me the way it hit me, but I was like, F that, I'm getting in the weight room. I was like, I'm going to lift weights. Like, that won't happen again. So I started just the basics, bench pressing, back squatting, deadlifting. Just, I got to figure it out. And then I got to Tennessee Tech, and because that was in JUCO when that happened. And I got to my 4-year school, got to Tech, and then I had some guidance. And my strength coach was a CrossFit guy. So he was like, You want to do CrossFit?
He's like, dude, you have some natural talent
Yeah,
here.
he
You
was
should do this.
He's like, man, you should do CrossFit.
Yeah.
And I started doing CrossFit. Didn't go home that summer. Stayed, trained a little bit more. Wasn't getting much bigger, but I was getting stronger. And then graduated from college, and he was like, I think you should compete in CrossFit. And I was like, I just want to play basketball. You know, I just want to play pro ball due to certain circumstances. Had a kid in college. I was like, I really don't want to live away from my kid. Like, I have to raise my child. Like, I mean, each their own, and some people have to do it, but I was like, nothing's going to move me away from this kid. Like, or separate me from her. I need to be hands-on. I need to raise her. And that was my daughter.
That's
I was
Cameron.
in college. That's Cameron, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so overseas basketball didn't look as promising because the money wasn't there for me to live with a family out of the country.
Sure.
So got into CrossFit, became a strength and conditioning coach, started training, and within a year, 20 pounds bigger. And I just felt like a beast. Like, I was 20 pounds bigger, and I was just like, whatever I physically want to do, I will do.
Yeah.
So it was just all starting from basketball, and I feel like a guy physically just was more dominant than me, and I was like, I don't like.
But think about how many people would just back down right there, though, man. Easy. I got to give you credit, because it's like, you know, you could tell yourself whatever you wanted there, right? When that guy just physically was just more dominant than you in that moment, you're like, you know, I wasn't meant to be a big guy. I've always been a smaller guy.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's just not my frame. You know, I'm not meant to be big. You know, all these things you could tell yourself, and you know, but you know, you wanted what you wanted, and you went and worked for it. I think that's awesome.
And it's true, because I've made some of those statements. I was like, man, I'm a basketball player. I'm supposed to be like. And then I started thinking,
I get too big, I won't be agile. That's my thing. I'm good at
like,
being fast. Or
just
whatever.
imagine if I was still agile this fast, but I can run through you rather than going around you. Mm-hmm. So the mindset was just like, I don't care what I think. I don't want to feel that way again. I don't want someone. And so now when I play basketball, it's funny because I have a standard. It's like, you got to be 220 or over 6'4" to put me on the block. If you 6'4" and 200, you're not big enough. If you 6'2" and 240, you're not big enough. Like, you can't physically overpower me. If you're not 6'4" and over 220, you're not big enough to take me down here and rumble with me. You don't have the physicality of it. And it was just that mentality of like, nah, like, I'm willing to alter, change, evolve in any way I need to get the task done. And whatever that looks like.
Where'd you get your competitive drive?
The hood.
The hood? So, like, what, any specific instances that, like, made you feel like that? Or
Yeah, a good story of where the competitor was born.
Man, just the hood, man. I mean, like, it was cutthroat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just one of those dudes. I don't stop. When I play basketball, I don't stop talking. Like, now that I'm a little bit older, a little bit more mature, and I play out of like just a little rec league.
More of rec, yeah.
Yeah. I don't say anything. I just play and have a good time and enjoy that space. And I usually have my sons there with me, so I don't want them to see dad all like talking crazy to people. But like high school, college, you couldn't shut me up. Like, I had to taunt you. If your mom was in the crowd, I was going to taunt her too.
That's funny.
like I had to taunt you. And it just came from growing up in the hood where like everybody talks smack no matter what. So it was just like, I can't pinpoint a specific story. It was just like, you just, if you're going to play sports, just be ready for it, because somebody's going to talk to you crazy, and either you're going to end up fighting or you're going to play the game. And the game was like, if I get you mentally out of here, I'm going to dominate you physically. I got the ability. So, yeah, just growing up in the hood.
I feel like that's so good, though. It's like it builds so much mental resilience. You know, if you grow up hearing somebody talking like that and you're talking like that and you're in a competitive environment, it's like, you know, you get put into a situation later in life and it's like, oh, you know, it's just, I'm
Not
used
your
to
first rodeo, you know.
And I always look at it as like everything doesn't have to end in a physical fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can respect the game and just talk smack, like, and have a good time. And if somebody gets the best of you, it's like, all right, you got me, you know, like, if I get the best of you, it's like, all right, I got you. So I just grew up in an environment where like we used to play ball, and like it was just always that. It was always just cutthroat. Like, and it could be your best friend on another team. After the game, y'all go back to the house and kick it, and the smack talking don't stop.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So everything we did was some form of like competition. And like, for me, it was more, everything was a mental game.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, it was like, I mean, you grow up in the hood, and this may be other places. I grew up in the hood, so I can only speak for that. But dudes are freak athletes, bro. Like I'm talking like early, like 5th grade dudes just up there at the rim. 6th grade dudes dunking. Like
that's wild.
I mean, the ability of ball handling, the speed, the like control is crazy. Like the kids that I always played against older kids, and like the kids that I played against when I was younger, I felt like I wasn't adequate. I wasn't good enough. And so it was just like, all right, well, I'm gonna work on this. And it's just because guys don't care and they're just that good. Mm-hmm. They're not even trying.
You like rose to the level of the competition though.
Yeah. You know? Everywhere. And when I say growing up in the hood, like you play basketball everywhere. And so like
for our listeners real quick, where did you grow up?
Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
Yep, Columbus, Ohio. And like dudes was just like that. Like everywhere you went, like, and we used to go to different neighborhoods and play basketball against other neighborhoods and stuff like that, street ball. I didn't start playing organized basketball until the end of my 8th grade year, pretty much.
Wow.
Right before high school. I was always known.
And probably didn't need to, you know what I mean?
And now kids
are
like,
you were playing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
well, I was playing against a lot of competition, but I was hustling.
Right.
Like I was playing for money. I was in the streets like little shootout, 3-point shootouts, gambling 1-on-1, playing like little stuff, $20 here, $30 here, like trying to figure it out. That was my
So you in 5th grade? Just kidding.
that was my first year in CrossFit.
It's wild, dude.
Yeah,
that's after you started stacking on the muscle? Or that
was before.
Before pick.
That was my first CrossFit event I had ever went to. I literally graduated from college and my strength coach was like, "Hey, I want to take you to a CrossFit competition."
Do you still compete in shorts that long?
Nah.
Did you clean up that comp?
I got destroyed. I mean, like dudes was like handstand push-ups, flipping heavy tires, ring muscle ups.
Always on the first comp, they always got to put in something that you're like, man, I hope they don't put that in. I
was like, what is this? Like, what'd you bring me to? Like, you know what I'm saying? Got destroyed. I was wrecked, super sore.
Some swimming in there for you.
They had me ice bathing like after the first day because I was just like, what is
move.
going on with my muscles, right?
Yeah. This is 2010 too, so like CrossFit is still pretty new at this point.
Yeah, it's on its heyday rise.
Yeah,
as far as trajectory goes, man, that was a golden era.
Yeah, that was I literally like 2 months after college, 3 months after college, graduated from college, went down there into a sectional, competed on the team, got my ass handed to me, and I was like, all right, this won't happen again. I'm gonna start really doing this.
Better.
You've lived all over the country though, right? I mean, like, can you just give our listeners a quick list of all the places you've lived since 2010?
2010. Well, before that, from Columbus, Ohio, moved to Chicago, south suburbs of Chicago. Played ball there for 2 years. Moved to Tennessee, Cookeville, Tennessee. Played basketball there for 2 years. Stayed 2 years after I graduated from Tennessee Tech and became a strength and conditioning coach.
Did you train with Rich Froning down there?
Yeah,
that's like kind Cookeville is the hotbed of. Yeah.
That was literally when I got into CrossFit and became a strength and conditioning coach. I think 2 months later, Rich came on staff, and my strength coach literally, BS you not, this was his instructions: do whatever he does. That was his coaching instructions.
Easy.
Do whatever Rich does, you do.
Tons of people are paying money for that right now.
For sure. I got it for free.
Mayhem athlete. Doing pretty good.
I got it for the freebie. Yeah. So yeah, he was like, whatever he does, do that. And I was just like, all right. And of course, Rich was super, like, we were both strength conditioning coaches. He had a group of people because he's from Cookeville.
Yeah.
So he had a group of guys that he was already training with. And that year when I was at that sectional, he won that sectional to qualify for the games and got second at the games that year. Comes in, starts training with me, closes his gym down, comes over to CrossFit Cookeville, which was the gym that my strength and conditioning coach, Chip Pugh, ran out of Tennessee Tech University facility. And he's like, whatever he does, do that. And I literally just took it to heart. I was like, all right, like, I'm just going to do that because my strength coach was like, hey, you could be one of the fittest people in the world. Like, you could be good at this. And I was always one of those people who was like, I just need one person to tell me that something's capable. Yeah. And if it seems appealing enough, I'm going to go for it. Like I don't need
one person to bring down the limits.
Just to say like, hey man, you might be able to make $1 million. Like, and if it seems appealing to me, I'm like, you think so? It's like, yeah. It's like, okay, what do we need to do?
Yeah. Well, I love that you're coachable on that, dude, because so many people get into this spot where like you've seen a little bit of success to this point. You've seen some, you know what I'm saying? Like you've gotten some progress already before starting this training that you're following Rich Froning, right? And so there's just so many people right there in that moment when you mention like, hey, just do what he does. There's so many people that would be like, yeah, but like he's got like more broad shoulders than me. You know, like, yeah, but he's shorter than me.
That's
and like
the
he's
one.
more
Shorter.
he's more naturally gifted at this than me, right?
Yeah.
And so like I need to do my technique different, or I need to do this workout different because I need to, you know what I'm saying? And so they start to like talk themselves out of the hard work.
Yeah. So I'm one of those people like, hey, don't knock it till you try it kind of deal. Like I'm kind of like, if someone says like, hey, let's do this, I don't want to alter it. I don't want to change it. If it's your idea, if you came to me and was like, hey man, I got this idea, and you tell me, I'm the friend like, let's fucking run with it.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to change it. I don't want to alter it. I don't want to even give you a different idea on top of your idea. I don't want to like try to make it better or anything. Whatever you said, that's it. What do I need to do? Tell me what to do so I can assist you and we can run with it. If it doesn't work, we'll change shit on the way and we'll alter it as we go. But we're going to make this happen. I'm just one of those dudes where I don't get into the whole like, oh, I got this idea and I think this will be, I think it'll be better like this. Or like how you were saying, like, well, my frame is like this. It's like, I don't care. The CrossFit Games is the goal. This guy's been there. He knows how to do it, or he has a taste of it. I'm doing whatever he does.
Yeah, turn your brain off and start working.
That's it. And not even turn my brain off. Like I'm downloading information. I'm processing everything we're doing. I'm figuring out why I'm putting.
Well, at that point, you really don't know what works and what doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So you need data.
And so like, I just started downloading everything he was writing on that board, everything he was doing every morning when I saw him. I was just downloading information of like, and whether he told me a why or not, I put a why behind it.
Mm-hmm.
As I researched, as I got better in strength and conditioning, as I became better as a programmer, as I became better as a coach and giving information. Like I was coaching CrossFit classes. I was a strength and conditioning coach over men's basketball, women's basketball, tennis. So I was just taking information, just soaking it in and downloading it. And I've always just been that way where I get in the room with people and I'm like, okay, we got protein bros. How'd you start this? Mm-hmm. What'd you do? Like, what was the process? Like, and I'm just downloading information to remember. And the more you give me, I'm not going to remember all of it, but key things are going to stick out. And those key things are just like, well, I can maybe implement that same thing in my CrossFit gym, or I can implement that same thing in this business. And I think that's the biggest thing about like the process in which I started training. Going back to what you were saying, though, after Cookeville, Tennessee, real quick, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, lived there for 1.5 years, then moved to Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals, Alabama. That was under high temp. And then I left there and went to Vegas. I was in Vegas for right under 2 years, and then moved to Iowa. I've been there for the past 5-6 years.
Can I ask what brought you to Iowa in the first place? So it seems to be like a random change from a Vegas to a Des Moines.
It was a good change.
I don't disagree. Hey, we love Des Moines here.
It was a good change. My mother-in-law was there. We had our 4th kid in Vegas. And after that 4th kid,
you were like, I need some help.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah,
I have 3 kids. I know the feeling.
It was real, man. Like me and my wife, we've done everything we've lived on our own, like since no family around. We figured it out. We've just had each other's back when it came to the family, the kids, and structure and figuring things out and piecing things together. And then after that 4th kid, that's a throwback. That's a throwback. Gosh, that's my oldest boy right there. He's 9 now.
Oh my gosh. So is this Alabama or is this Vegas?
That's Vegas. No. Shit, I don't know where that is. I don't know. That rack is, that's 2016? That's Vegas. That's Vegas. I was gonna say that rack is a rack that I got from High Temp.
Look at his front rack, dude.
Yeah, dude. Look at his shoulder
That little
caps.
guy has a
Look
better
at his shoulder caps.
That little guy's got a better front rack than you'll ever have.
If you can find it, it's a photo of them.
Babies are mobile, dog.
It's a photo of my boys. They had got out the ice bath, and they're all flexing, and it kind of went viral. Like they look. That was in 2021.
We'll find that photo.
Yeah. I mean, they look ripped.
Yeah.
I was like, somebody's going to be like, what are you feeding these things? It's just genetics,
Like that
bro.
kid, little Tarzan. You remember that kid that was like, everyone's like, this kid's on steroids.
This is like when we were like in, I don't know, high school, college age. There was this guy going around. There was like a 6-year-old kid who was like doing all these like fitness feats.
Yeah.
There was like a, dude, I even saw like a Where Are They Now with that guy. You know what I'm saying? He, of course, was like 5 foot.
Yeah.
You know?
That's funny.
But like, yeah, it was like, they called him like baby Tarzan. He was like 6 or 8 years old, but he was yoked. You know what I mean? Like,
That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, man. So,
okay.
The question I had for you, man. So, 2010 CrossFit, you were following, what Rich was writing up on the board. Was it just an insane amount of volume?
yeah, bro.
I just remember listening to a podcast with like him and Jason Khalipa were like hanging out, and they were just like, yeah, we just worked out all day.
Yeah. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, it was fun, man. It was just like, we didn't have, like, there was just no like, I always say like things are easier when you let one brain facilitate it and everyone just kind of follow along.
Yeah.
Right? Like things become easier when everyone's brain is trying to put things together. It just becomes more complicated of like actually getting it done because things start to conflict. So in that time, it was just simple because it was just Rich figuring things out for Rich that is just going to make us better because we're not as fit as Rich.
Mm-hmm.
So it was simple. It's like we didn't have to really think, even though I had to program for other people and coach CrossFit classes and learn methodology and movement and study. When it came to working out, it was just pretty simple. I can't do 40 chest to bar pull-ups in 3 rounds. I'm going to modify it to 25. Cool. We got the workout. Let's get rolling. Like I don't have to think about the only thing that I will say I gave help on was the strength programs.
Yeah.
Testing them, progressions, deload, stuff like that. We all sat down and kind of do that. But like we were working out.
Yeah, dude, you're strong. Have you always been strong?
No.
You mentioned that at the start of the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, he was strong for his size, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
No.
So that dude like dominated him in college basketball.
No. When I first got into CrossFit, I was trash.
No, I mean like he's strong. Like what's your clean and jerk?
385.
That's strong.
Yeah, it's world class, man.
385 clean and jerk, 310 snatch.
That's nasty.
Crazy.
I've
Throwing
jerked,
310 over your head like that.
But what I'm saying is like, when you were playing basketball, could you clean 225?
No.
Did you ever even try? Probably. No.
Bro.
The early videos of you doing Olympic weightlifting compared to like you do the mashups with you like early and then like current is so funny.
Yeah.
It makes me be like, all right, my weightlifting's not all that bad. There's hope.
Well, I started studying weightlifting.
Yeah.
Like I started like researching weightlifting so that I can figure out how to teach it and coach it and create the seminar that I now have, the Lift Heavy Often weightlifting seminar. So I started diving into weightlifting on a like more like teaching and learning side pretty deep. And then as I did that, I was just implementing things into myself, like of trying different techniques and placement and stuff like that. And when you do that, you quickly figure out what works and what doesn't.
Did you always have good mobility for weightlifting?
No.
Took a while to develop.
You know what
that
my
too?
first weightlifting shoes were? Some wingtip dress shoes.
That's not a bad idea.
That's it. I didn't have the money to get Olympic lifting shoes. So I went
Like these have a heel on them.
had a heel on them, brought them into the gym, tried to learn how to overhead squat. My overhead mobility was terrible. Rich gave me a pair of brand new Addy Power weightlifting shoes. And I was so excited. I wore them to class. And my feet were in so much pain.
I can only imagine.
He was like, you're not supposed to wear those. They're like lifting shoes. And I'm like, well, I'm one of those dudes where I like new shoes, and they were new, so I wore them.
I gotta break them in.
I break them in. But nah, my overhead mobility was terrible.
Yeah.
I couldn't overhead squat. The first open workout, or one of the open workouts in 2011, was 60 bar facing burpees, 30 overhead squats, 10 ring muscle ups, 11-minute time cap on the workout. Oh my gosh, that's me and Rich. Go back to that. That's me and Rich. Look at this. Basketball Jordan shorts, big tee.
So say, man, that must have been wild. We're lifting in those where they go over the knee.
Listen, man, it was a rough time, man.
Dude, that was the era of like people were wearing receiver gloves. Like there was all sorts of stuff going on.
Tons of humility is what it is. But I'm saying like, I think it's just so cool that, you know, if you go back and look at that era, you know what I'm saying? And like you being in the, I would say like a, you know, kind of like a centerpiece, if you will, of CrossFit culture, like being like the brush strokes are just being painted on. If that makes sense. Right. And, you know, there was no normal. There was no, this is what it should look like.
Yeah.
And you guys got to be a part of just like making those brushstrokes of what people are going to compare to for years and years and years to come.
And so, that's a cool process when you think about it. Like, I always tell people like, it's funny to, like Rich was the start of social media in CrossFit. Like he was like the marketing piece. And so it's cool to see, one, he's still doing it on a very, very high level. But two, it's like he's a masters athlete now. Like he was the start of social media and CrossFit, like promoting and videos.
Bro,
and
we were working the original supplement superstore, right? And this is like 2010, like you're saying. And we'll never forget like the first time, because we had by the way, CrossFit was huge in Springfield, Missouri for whatever reason, huge deal. And while we were following along with CrossFit at the time, Rich got signed by BSN. And at the time, like No Explode
was massive.
Was the biggest pre-workout known to man.
Hey.
And like, dude, when they signed Rich Froning, we were like, holy shit, CrossFit is legit. It is for real.
CrossFit's here.
And it did its job. No Explode did its job.
It did.
I've lifted.
You do 3 scoops of No Explode, you're about to have a heart attack.
Hey, listen.
That's the golden era of No Explode, by the way.
I used to go fast when we had that in the gym.
The last breath of what was the best pre-workout.
But yeah, he was the start of a lot of things. So it was just cool to have that front row seat and kind of be a part of it, like be around it, be with it, like, you know, see it on the inside of, you know, like, he signed a Reebok. Next thing you know, everybody got Reebok clothes on.
And Reebok signs the CrossFit.
Yeah. So like,
now they got lifters and the nanos and
everything. Yeah. So it was cool to see all of that. Even the NO Explode, like we had an unlimited line of supplements. You know, like where it's just like social media, like sponsorships, endorsements. Like he was doing it on that level, and like we go back, it's just like you just get to see it, and you're a part of those things. And like now I'm a masters athlete, you know, 12 years, 13 years later, and it's just like, gosh, like we had a huge impact on a lot of the process of how things went and what people were seeing. Like I do seminars and people are like, man, I remember you from like 2012 on this video and this, and I'm like, crap, like, yeah, that was a long time ago.
I've been doing this a while now.
You remember like 2012 when you would see videos on social media? It's now everything you scroll is a video.
Yeah.
But back then when you'd see a video of like people lifting or working
the first
out,
lifting videos
it was
were
like,
oh, that's a throwback.
Yeah.
I mean, like, bro, there used to be like, if someone was lifting in a video, like you'd have to stop and watch, see if they hit the lift,
sure.
You know?
That photo is a workout that we did. It was 30 snatches, squat snatches, 30 clean and jerks, 30 ring muscle ups for time.
Sounds nasty.
And I think around this time, I was at like 9 ring muscle ups. Rich is, of course, he's done. He's sitting on the thing watching me and coaching me through like my pace and stuff like that. But it just goes to show like the capacity he had. Like he did 30 snatches, 30 clean and jerks, 30 ring muscle ups, and I'm like 9 in, 8 in.
I couldn't even guess what he did, you know.
Like right now.
He probably did like he broke the snatches.
All
like,
singles.
Yeah, he did them all singles.
We both did all singles. But like idea wise, it's like 30 ring muscle ups now. It takes me like 3 minutes and something. Mm-hmm. So back then that was probably like a 6 to 8 minute.
Wow.
For 30 ring muscle ups.
Yeah.
So he finished 8 minutes before me in a workout like that. And it's just amazing. Like when you sit back and like, everybody used to be like, man, Rich Froning is this. And you know, you watch the games and it's just like, when you watch them train, I think that was kind of more impressive to spend a day with him.
Sure.
Like I think it was like the games
when the
like,
cameras are off and no one's watching. How does he act?
Like the games, I was just like, he's gonna show up. Like he's a Showtime player. He's not like, I always tell like we had this talk before. I'm like, hey bro, when the lights come on, Easy's gonna show up. Like when it's game time, trust me, all the training I've been doing, I'm gonna show up. It's gonna happen. He's like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like that in training. I'm kind of like that in training.
Yeah.
But he's like that in training where he's like, I mean, he puts in the work, man.
Bro, what was the year where he like, this is important. What was it like Froning Sunday? They called it like, what was like the year? Was it 14 or 13 where it was like he was in 5th place or something? He'd like
dominated the last day.
He had never like going into the last day, he had never been like not in first place for like 3 years.
Yeah, it was.
And he won every event.
12, 13, 14.
Yeah, it was like he won every single event to take first place.
Yeah.
On the final day.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to do. You know what I mean? Like if you're winning first place in one event, you're redlining yourself to a point where it's like, how are you going to perform in the next one?
He just shows up, man. Like I always tell people, like there's, you can't beat Froning because it is exactly where God wanted him to be. Mm-hmm. I honestly believe the Michael Jordans, the Matt Frazier's, the Rich Fronings, the LeBron James, they are literally doing exactly what God called them to do in that exact space.
And they believe it just as much as you do.
And they believe it just as much as me. They're unbeatable. I don't even try to beat people like that. I don't even attempt. Like it's to me, it's like, and maybe it's because of my faith and my belief and understanding in like the divine one and that God has purpose for everyone and everyone has a purpose and something that they should be doing. We just get distracted by all the earthly things that we have. I think that was it for him. I think Froning was right in the place that he needed to be. And right when he was ending, Frazier was coming into his purpose. And it worked out exactly how you need to see it. We got 1 year of both of them.
Mm-hmm. Where does this, go ahead.
And then Matt lost and then just took the reins after that.
Well, Ben Smith beat him the next year.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And got first.
Yep.
And then after that, he dominated for 5 years straight.
Yep.
To your point, where do you feel like, God's calling is for you in this season of your life?
To serve young black men. I feel like that has always been something I've been very, very passionate about.
To walk the walk of what you're saying, you mentioned before the mics turned on, I think you had 3 nephews just move in with you.
Yeah, my nephews are in with me. And I'm just, regardless of anything, my goal and objective with them is just to love them through no matter what they're doing. No matter what the pain is that they've experienced, no matter what they're doing, is to find a way to love them through it and be patient with them. That's it. It's like, you're safe. You're at home with me. You're okay. Like, whatever time you need, take it. You may not ever get this opportunity again where someone can bring you into their space and you don't have to worry about anything. But right now, don't worry about anything. Just take your time. I'm not in a rush to push them to do anything, to go anywhere, to make any money, to do it. Just like, you're just fine.
When did you feel that's an incredible, thought, and I would just say that when did you feel like confident that is what these young men need? Where did you find that yourself?
Honestly, I think it was when I had sons. And of course my daughter's like, that's my golden child, right? It was my first child. I had a little girl, she was phenomenal. When I had a son, I don't know, perspective changed because now it was like everything that I missed out on with my father, or that I just kind of like thought about in my mind, it was like, I can live this out directly. And everything started coming to me. By the time I had my second son, everything started coming to me. Like all the stuff that I dealt with as a kid, all the little things I went through. And so I was like, man, I'm never going to let these kids experience any of this. And if they do, I'm going to go through it with them. No matter what, I'm going to walk through the fire with you, son. Like
it's so awesome, man.
Yeah. So as I got older and older, I was just like, that's it. Yeah, that's the photo. And listen, the one mean mugging,
yeah,
he's the softest one. He's the quietest one. He's the most chill. He's the middle boy. So the one in the middle is the baby. The one to the right of him on the photo is Kason. He's the second boy, and then the oldest is the one on the left. But they just got out of the ice bath. They were doing cold therapy.
My boy on the left is already flexing those traps, dude.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, listen,
it's unbelievable.
I mean, they're some little beasts, man. But they're just good kids.
Yeah, being awesome. A dad to a boy, to sons, it does make you kind of like step back and think about like, you know, what are the things that I had to learn along the way that wasn't taught to me?
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure that I teach my son that, you know, and it's a different kind of teach than with your daughters, because it's like you lived it, right?
Yeah.
It's experience that you lived. With your daughters, you're kind of teaching them, you know, values that you hold, and you know, but like, let's be honest, your wife is probably teaching them like hair stuff and makeup and all that, you know.
I just had to talk with my daughter on the way here. We talked for about 2 hours of that road trip. Just had some conversation, and she just went to Switzerland with me not too long ago. So she's been traveling with me a little bit.
What a cool experience.
Yeah, we went to Minneapolis, went to Mall of America, hung out, got our passport, and just kicked it, spent some time together. So she works, she goes to school from home. I treat my daughter like my son. I raised her like a boy. I talk to her like a young man. I always tell her, and we had the conversation today where I'm like, I will never try to control you. I'm in no position to control anyone, but I can definitely give you the experience and perspective. Mm-hmm. I've lived through it. The same thing goes for my sons. Same thing goes for my nephews. I'm not going to control you. I'm not going to try to dictate what you're doing. You got to make your own decision. You got to make your own choice. I will tell you, hey, that friend seems a little sketchy. You might need to get away from them. It's your choice to do it or not. I'm not going to force you to do it. But I'm telling you, you keep hanging out with that person, this is what may come from. Mm-hmm. You can take that advice, or you can find out yourself. Just know that's here either way. Make your decision. I'm not going anywhere. And if you fall and get stuck in the mud, don't worry, I'll grab you up. Like, I'm just one of those people where it's like, I'm not in a position to control anyone or try to control anyone. I don't want to control anyone. Like,
it wouldn't be love, right?
It wouldn't, right? And like, I think of it like, as I had boys, all the things that I was going through and experiencing started popping up where I was like, man, I don't want them to experience that. So like, I need to be prepared for that. I need to think about that. Man, I wish me and my dad had this relationship. I wish I was closer to him, or I can call on him for advice, or I can speak to him. I wish he just checked on me every day. I never had that. So it was like, I'm going to do that for my sons. Like, and so all these experiences that you didn't get, or that you thought you were supposed to get, or how it would be like, just starts playing out. A lot of emotional days. When I had sons, I started crying a lot more, because I was just like I understand it. And then on the flip side, my oldest nephew's 26. His name is Malachi. I used to think of him as my son. It was weird, but it was like, I probably prayed for that kid more than anyone else, because I was like, I just want him to be okay. And I could never really call him or talk to him, or maybe I was just busy and forgot and it slipped my mind. And now that he's living with me, I'm like, take as much time as you want. You're 26 years old. You ain't got to work. You ain't got to do nothing, nephew. I don't care. If you just want to sit in the house all day for the next year, go for it. I'm just glad you're with me, and I know you're safe. Because for a long time, I didn't know. For a long time, I was just praying, because my mom just raised us like, pray, pray, pray. I was just praying for you, and I never knew. I'm not in any rush with that kid. I was like, take your time, nephew. You're 26. Take your time. I wish somebody would have called me when I was 26 and been like, you can live rent free. You ain't got to worry about nothing. Take your time and figure things out. And it just comes from a place of love, where it's just like, I can't control you. I can't stop you who you are, but it's like, I can love you through all your pain and hurt. Whatever you're going through, I'm going to figure out a way to love you through it, have conversation with you, talk to you. Going back to my daughter, I was telling her, I was like, I'm not any, like, God didn't bring me here to control you, or control my children, or control your mom, or control my nephews. But he brought me in a place where I can follow my purpose, and my purpose is to love you all through everything you go through, and just let you know, like, I'm here.
Dude, I think that's extremely beautiful. And I think it's awesome that you speak to it in that direct of a way. I think a lot of guys are afraid to say those kind of words, or, at the risk of sounding a certain way, whatever. It's just, not comfortable with themselves to talk like that. But is there a part where, have you tested this enough to where it's like, have you had to set a boundary ever where you're like, hey, like, we don't value that in this family? Yeah. If their actions are just, too off the wall, if you will, like, if you had to test that theory yet, if you will?
Yeah, I'm having to test it now a little bit, without a doubt. And I take my time. I process things. I let anger, kind of be removed, whether it takes a day, 2 days, a week, maybe 2 weeks, to make sure that anger's gone, that frustration's out of the window, so I can come to the place and have the conversation that I need to have directly and speak through love without the frustration or anger. And I try to be very, very intentional when I have conversations and talk to my sons, my nephews, things like that. And if it means I got to take a week or two to just kind of process and figure things out of how to get through you the proper way or say things the proper way, I will. But like, we're creatures of repetition, right? We're environmental creatures. We're creatures for repetition. And everyone's going to follow suit when everyone's doing right. You will always have someone that will stray off, and that person that will stray off, you got to love them from a distance. And I'm capable of loving you from a distance. I'm capable of removing myself from you or removing you from my space and still loving you. Simple fact is I have young kids. I can't let anything, I mean, it's the hierarchy, right? Like, my children come first, regardless of anything. And if anything's destroying their space or destroying their environment or atmosphere, I have to remove that from their atmosphere. And I can still love you, still support you, and still help you. But like, that is my priority. Cameron, Mason, Kaysen, Kaizen is my priority. They are my priority.
That's the boundary. Yeah.
That's the boundary. So
yeah. Have you exposed your nephews to like fitness? Are they into it?
Yeah, I got a 3-car garage. Just that's a training facility.
Yeah,
you can't park your car in there. It's for training.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like if they come from a bad circumstance, and it seems like fitness is such a direct line as to like can help with developing that resiliency that maybe they didn't have in their previous circumstance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So like my 17-year-old nephew, when he's a little frustrated and angry, he goes out in the garage and works out. I went and bought him a punching bag, got him some gloves. Like, if you need to, before you put a hole in one of my walls, go out there and punch that. He gets worked up, man.
Yeah.
He gets worked up, and growing up where we grow up, anger is the first thing you learn to display.
Yeah.
And so he can display it very, very well. And so there's times where I gotta just calm down. Like, just
take it out on this.
Yeah, just grab him, hug him. Hey, calm down. You don't have to do that. You don't have to speak like that. You don't have to get that worked up. I know you're angry. I'm gonna talk to you. I tell him all the time, like, I'm not the uncle, like, I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, nah, I ain't gonna talk to you like that. You're a young man. Like, we can have conversation. You can get frustrated with me and angry with me, and I'm gonna keep my head so that you can calm down. Everything is, and people follow suit, especially kids, man.
Yeah.
Like, they follow suit. So if they see an environment that promotes violence, kids become violent. If they see an environment that promotes love and togetherness, then kids want to be together in love. It's all environmental. A lot of people don't understand it. Like, I grew up in the hood. Most people don't want to fight.
Mm-hmm.
They fight because it's promoted and it's normalized and it's okay, and they think that's the only way out.
They're like looking for acceptance almost.
That's
Sounds
it.
like.
I despise fighting. Fighting is for protection only. You use it only when you need to protect yourself or defend yourself. Fighting is not like, I'm a good fighter, so I'm just going to go fuck with people and start stuff. I'm a good fighter, so I can say what I want to say and do what I want to do because I know I'm going to be able to beat you up.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you have to have those discussions with, especially with my nephew, who's 17. Like, he's been around the block. He's been through some stuff. He's prepared. Like, you don't want those.
He's got some jaded views, if you will, like now, right? He's a little jaded.
Yeah.
He's going to be around people and think it's going to be a certain way. And you're like, you don't have to be like that
At all.
It's not like that right now.
And he's learning that. He's getting that. But like, you don't want those hands with that kid. Because he's fighting to the death. It's not just a fight. It's not just like, it's like, I got to get home. I got to get away. I got to make sure I end you. So I'm going to fight you. And it's not just like, it's rage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to fight someone that's ready to rage. Like, no. So like, it's just having those conversations with them and like, hey, you don't have to fight here.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to, get that mad. And if you do, you can walk away. You can call me. Like, there's other alternatives to your anxiety, to your frustration, to your anger. And it's just trying to work with them and get them to understand that. Yeah, those are all my nephews right there. Except for one. There's one more, Corian. He wasn't with us on that trip, but the one next to me is Malachi. He's a 26-year-old. The one next to him is Eric. He's 17. Then the one next to him is Bruce. Those are all brothers, my sister's sons. And then my sons are Mason, Kaysen, Kaizen in that order. That's the order of which the age for all of the kids.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We all went to
cool,
I picked them up in Ohio. We all went to a seminar that I was teaching, a training camp that I was teaching in North Carolina. So I picked them up in a 16-passenger van. Picked them up in Ohio.
Let's go.
We all drove to North Carolina, hung out, kicked it at a gym.
That's cool, man.
It's really cool, man.
Man, getting back to training real quick, you've been to the CrossFit Games twice.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
The 15 and 17?
Yep.
Yeah, nice, man. What was your experience like going to the CrossFit Games? It's obviously a huge production, and like I said, it's a very, very, like, if you're not into CrossFit, you just don't understand how hard it is to make the CrossFit Games, but it is a very, very hard thing to qualify for. So maybe talk to us a little bit about your experience getting ready for that and what it was like to actually compete at the pinnacle of your sport.
Yeah, getting ready for it was tough. Just you don't realize this anxiety. You don't realize you're that worked up, but you are.
It's constant tense.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm not going to say I was questioning myself, but I was just like, am I doing enough too? Like, it was just like that. I know I'm capable, but like, do I need to do more? Let me do more. Let me do more. So 15 I was a train wreck. Mm-hmm. Besides the daily life stuff and everything else that was going on in your life, it's just like, I got to train more. I got to train more. I got to train more. I had I think my son was born, my second son. So the boys were born 14, 15. Yeah, 14, 15, 16. So the oldest boy was in the gym with me every day. He didn't know anything else. Put him in the car seat. Let's go to the gym. Daddy gonna work out. We're gonna train. Coach class, train, work out. Cameron, you come to the gym too, because I haven't seen you or hung out with you, and we're gonna hang out at the gym. We're gonna walk down to the park. We're gonna go back. Daddy gonna train. Coach class. Like, it was just like, I got to do more and more and more. 2015, my wife was like, "We're going to Disney," and I was like, "What? I don't got time to go to Disney right now." Like, coming into 15, remember, I just missed the games by one spot in 14. I got 4th. The year before that, I got 5th. So I'm just missing the games by like a couple points.
A spot,
couple points. Like, one event changes drastically. One placing in an event, I'm at the games 3 times before 15, twice before 15. So, I mean, I was like, nah, I got to put in every bit of time that I need to put in. She's like, we're going to Disney. This was... You are clutch, man.
Hey, shout out Killcliff, by the way.
Yeah. Go to Disney and come back. Got the last open workout. This is in the middle of the open.
Oh.
I was like,
put in a lot of steps at Disney.
Come back. Didn't train for a week. As soon as I got done with the 4th workout, because it was 5 workouts that year. As soon as I got done with the 4th workout, we left, went to Disney, stayed a whole week, came back the day of the open announcement. I was like, saw the workout. I was like, I'm done. 27, 21, 15, 9 thrusters and calorie row. I was like, I'm wrecked. I'm done. There's no way I haven't worked out in a week. It's like, why would you ask me to go to Disney when I'm trying to qualify for the game? So like, it's so much stress, not only because of training, but it's like your life doesn't stop.
Right.
Get back, die in that workout, do it twice, get the same exact time. It
was 27, 21,
27, 21, 15,
9 of calorie row and thrusters.
Thrusters at 95 pounds.
That's a soul sucker.
It's just
a lactic workout.
Yeah.
Got the same, did it, got my time. That's not good enough. I got to do better. I watched Matt Frazier and Alex Anderson do it live, head to head. My time was like a minute slower than theirs, a minute and a half slower. I'm like, no way. I got to do it again. It's not good enough. Do it again. Got the same exact time. I sat there. I was like, I'm not going to regionals. I'm not going to qualify. 2015 was the first year it was a super regional, which means after the open, they take the top 20 of this region and combine. So it's no longer like what people don't realize is like when you get to regionals, when I get to regionals, it's game one. When I get to perform in front of people, I'm ready to go. I'm excited. Mm-hmm. Doing workouts in my gym, I'm like, this blows. Like, I can't wait to get next to you. Like, I'm a destroy you. My mind is like, we can be buddy in the back, clowning, having a good time. When we hit 3, 2, 1, go on the floor, I'm going to destroy you. So I was like, I got to get to regionals. I was like, I'm not making it to regionals. That wasn't good enough. Sat there, just load my phone. Where am I? I got 20th place. They only took top 20.
Ooh.
2015, I got 20th place, last spot to go to regionals.
Wow.
Which I was like, I had already called it. As soon as I got 20th place, I was like, I'm not going. Told my gym, let everybody know. Like, I'll come back next year. too stressful. Shouldn't have went to Disney. Shouldn't have did certain things. Like I was training my face into the ground. Like not going. I quit. They released the workouts. I got a text from the guy, my strength and conditioning coach,
That got you
that
into
got me into CrossFit, sent me a random Bible verse. Just put me on a list of his athletes to send Bible verses to. Boom, it was the right thing. I wish I would have saved. I didn't save it because it was just random. So I just looked at it and I was like, I'm supposed to be there. Closed it, called my homeboy, like, we're going to do it. I'm going to regionals. I'm going to qualify for the game this year. He was like, what? I thought you weren't. I'm like, I'm going and I'm going to qualify for the games. We need to test these workouts. Meet me at the gym first thing in the morning. Let's get to it. Got to it, trained, went to regionals, top 3.
It's awesome.
Punched my ticket to the games. I was like,
Love it.
yo, I was fired up. I was like, that's it. Punched that ticket to the games. I was like, I know I'm more than capable. Get to the games, and the games kind of was my downfall. What I mean by that is like it's the end goal. Goal accomplished. I'm one of the fittest people in the world. No matter how I do here, I'm now in a position that most people that do CrossFit will never be in. And most people that even attempt will still never make it. More people will attempt to get to the games and be in a position to qualify, whether they get to semifinals, quarterfinals, whatever, that will never make it versus the people that actually get there. I was like, I'm about to go and have fun. I don't care about placing. I'm about to show my ass, boy. I'm about, any event that I even think I am close enough to winning, I'm going to have some fun. I'm just going to enjoy myself. 2015, went to the games, had a blast, enjoyed it. There was no pressure at the games. For me, I mean, for other people, like, you got to remember, like, I came in under Froning. So coming in under Froning, it was a very, very clear-cut understanding if you can win the games or if you are going there to compete and just do the best you can.
Yeah.
I saw what it looks like a direct outlook of like what it takes and what a champion looks like for the CrossFit Games. I knew I wasn't that. And I knew I didn't want that. Like, I just wasn't willing to make those sacrifices that I saw. Remember, I had a kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Froning was by himself, and him and his wife. Like, I had a kid. I had certain things that I wasn't willing to do. He trained at a capacity that I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm going to try, which I did. And I continued to try, and I continued to follow that pattern even when I left years later. I stayed on that. But it was just like, I saw what it looks like. I'm not as strong as him. I'm not as fast as him. I'm not as skilled as him. So I understand that I can reach those things if I continue to put in this work, but I'm not him. And I was very, very aware that he was in the position that God put him in. I'm just playing a sport. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just out here playing a sport. And I'm just one of those people where it's like, if I'm going to put my time into something, you're going to know me for it. That's it. I was just like, if I'm going to put this much energy into something, I want to be the best I could possibly be. And I want people to recognize that I'm one of the best. And other little things played into it. Like, my daughter used to see the Delta symbol or the little Reebok sign. She was a baby. She'd be like, Rich. She'd be like, Daddy does that shit too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, like, but anything CrossFit, she correlated to Rich. And I was just like, maybe if I get on TV, she'll understand. Yeah. By that time, she understood because it was years later. But, 15, it was a dogfight. It was training nonstop. It was pushing. I mean, it was just constantly like trying to figure out how to get fitter, how to get better, how to get stronger. I started getting into weightlifting a lot. So I started weightlifting like crazy around 15. I did a touch and go snatch with 300, first athlete to ever do something like that.
That's wild.
Like, no one did it. And that's
wild.
And that was the first time I ever completed a snatch with it.
No kidding.
That was the first time I ever completed.
You did a double with it?
And I held on to it, touch and go, jerked 405, overhead squat at 405, deadlift at 565. Like, I was putting up crazy numbers. Front squat at 405, back squat at 5. Like, I was, as an athlete, it was just like, I was putting out all of my content and all of my lifts, and I was even putting out the progressions to it. I touched and go 275 for a triple. I did 285 for a double before I hit the 300, like weeks before.
This is on snatch we're talking about?
This is the snatch, yeah. snatch 285 for a double, 275 for a touch and go triple. So I was just able to like put things together when it came to the physicality of lifting that people weren't doing.
Bro, can we talk about this? This is so fun. Like 2010, you're lifting in those fucking wingtip dress shoes, right?
Yeah.
5 years later, you're walking the games. Tell us about the haul of shit you got, like the massive Reebok sponsorship.
Oh yeah.
They just hooked it up.
Well, I mean, to be complete, like they did hook it up. It was a lot of gear. They gave you a lot of stuff, right? Due to the fact that I was with Froning, I already had a ton of stuff.
Sure.
Like I had bags of like Froning used to just,
But these have your name on them now.
but they had my name on them. So that was clutch, right? Where it was just like, I did it. I'm
Right.
here. I made it. Like
I'm not borrowing Froning stuff anymore.
got like five,
Yeah.
6 pair of shoes. You got like 2 jerseys per day. Like, I mean, it was a lot. Reebok dumped a lot into it.
I think one of the coolest things you get at the games are those big the
Floor
signs. Yeah, the floor mats that say your name.
Yeah.
Those
So
are
like
dope.
it was dope, man. It was really cool. 15 was a lot of training. 16, I missed the games by 1 spot again. I got 6th place. I'm still looking for the judge. I hope he watches this podcast because when I see him,
Oh, you no rep you on something?
I'm gonna punch him in the stomach. Man. Last rope climb. It was 21:59 thrusters, 3-2-1 legless rope climbs. I was like, I could play the game, or I can win the event. If I win the event, I punch my ticket to the games no matter what, point wise. If I play the game, that means I have to beat the right people, and they have to land in the right place for me to qualify. Me and my homeboy in 2015, I was in the back. I'll tell you the story that leads into 16. Me and one of my guys, Kyle Randolph, was in the back, and I was tallying up the numbers. Like, oh man, it was a clean event. It was a ring muscle. It was 15 ring muscle up and then a clean ladder for the last event. And I'm tallying up like, man, I'm in this place. If I do this, do that, nah. And I was putting together all this stuff. And he goes, what are you doing? And I was like, man, I got to figure out like what I need to do in this event. He was like, just go win. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's easier said than done, bro.
One
He's
way to
like,
look at it, you know?
He's
Yeah.
like, no, it's not. It's ring muscle ups and a clean ladder. You can do 15 ring muscle ups unbroken, right? Without a doubt. And you can clean faster than anyone on the floor. I was like, yeah. He was like, then go win the event so that you can qualify for the games. Stop playing the game.
Yeah.
It's always stuck with me. Shout out to Kyle Randolph. He's in Alabama at CrossFit Noala. Bro, always stuck with me. It's me and him sitting on a barbell looking at each other when he's saying this to me. Somebody caught a photo of it. Super cool. And he's just like, go win. I went out there and I did that. 2015 qualified. 2016, last event, thrusters and rope climbs. 21:59. Only thing in my mind was like, I did the same thing. I was sitting down trying to tally stuff up, like trying to figure out like, okay, if I beat him by this many points, it gives me this many points. And then I have like, and I sat down, I'm like, here we go again. I'm trying to be a CrossFitter and trying to figure out, it's like, these are my events, like sprint events. Like,
Yeah.
Go win. Like, ain't nobody beating me in legless rope climbs and thrusters. Like, go win. Came out the gate hot. Destroying everybody. Got to the last rope climb. He no-rep me on the way up. On a legless rope climb. Said I clamped my legs.
Clamped your legs. I
was
think I
like-
saw that. Was this a sprint? You were sprinting down to the ropes and then coming back for the thrusters?
No, the thrusters were first. So all I had to do after the 9 thrusters, I finished my 9 thrusters. I'm in first place. I run to the rope. I jump up the rope. I grab one pull. He's screaming no rep. Says, don't clamp your leg. You can't clamp your legs. I'm like, why would I? I'm climbing up the rope, buddy. Like, why would I grab the rope? You know, like after a jump and 2 pulls, I'm at the beam pretty much every time.
Yeah.
Like, no rep me. Of course, you don't got time to argue. Come down, jump right back up, touch, boom. See one of the guys running across the floor. I get second place in the event. I'm like, now we got to play the game. Sat there, waited. I think I missed the games by 2 points. Got 6th place, packed my stuff up, left. It's like, I'm out of here. I was pissed off. And everybody's like, what happened? What happened? No. I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. Oh, you should appeal it, all this stuff. I'm like, nah, I'll be back next year. I'm not about to argue at CrossFit. They're going to piss me off even more because they're not going to take into consideration that I just watched a video from a fan over here that shows my legs swinging, not clamped. And the head judge just came over. At the same time, I think like a week earlier, Jeff Evans got the same no rep, no call. He missed the games by 1 spot. 2 black athletes, prominent, known in the space, just so happened. I was just like, it's just too many things going through my mind that's frustrating right now. I don't want to deal with it. I'll be back next year. Like, I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to fuss and fight. The calls, and I'm a basketball player, right? Once the ref makes a call, it's like, what are you flaying? What you doing all this for?
You got to move on.
It's like, nah, get ready for the next play, bro.
Yeah.
Great athletes have short memories. Forget about it. It's over. The call was made. I didn't qualify for the games. I'm not going. No matter how much arguing I do, if I start arguing and they don't reverse it, it's going to even make me more upset. So just let me deal with it. I'm done. Everybody's showing me these videos. No.
Yeah, just trying to stoke the fire.
Yeah, like appeal. My wife is fired up. Like, I'm going to appeal it. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Like, pack our stuff. Let's go. We leave. Like, get back into training. 2017, when I qualified for the games, I was like, this is redemption. I'm going to get back to the games. One, they released a podcast. I think it was like Sevon or somebody released a podcast. It was like, all these guys that qualify one time, they're lucky. I was like, I know he wasn't talking to me directly, but it was just that thought of like, bro, ain't no luck in this. I've been doing this for 4 years, 5 years to try to qualify for the games. There's no luck. This is just me putting in the work and just having to go through the process. So for you to put out a podcast and say it's luck, this kind of pissed me off. Like, nah. And
you felt like you needed to prove it.
They're undermining your hard work, of course.
But I was speaking for everyone in my doing, even though I felt like I know he wasn't talking to me, but I was speaking for everyone that I've seen constantly putting in the hours, the man hours and the work to get to the games and just fall short time after time until they get it. So I was like, nah. Between that, missing it 1 year, I was like, all right. Went into the gym, went back to what I did in 2015. I'm just going to train. I'm going to put in the hours. I'm going to put in the time. This time I was a little smarter because I was like, I'm not going to miss a beat with the kids. I'm not going to like I'm going to call it. I'm going to put certain boundaries on not training past a certain time or starting a certain time in the morning, not missing, like taking them to school or engaging them. Like, I had certain things that I put in place, and I was like, I'm going to punch this ticket. Got into the open. I was just like, whatever I have to do. If I got to do a workout 3 times in 3 days, whatever I have to do, I'm going to get back to the CrossFit Games. And both years I had a group of people that were willing to train. Both years I had a group of people around me that were just like in the gym training for something. Right? And I've been for the CrossFit Games or CrossFit, may have been weightlifting, but they were just putting in those type of hours. And it just makes everything a little bit more intense, a little bit better when you got guys that's like, whatever you write on that board, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Froning had guys all of his careers, like whatever he writes on that board, we all in. Like, it's no like coincidence. It's like he's had those guys around him constantly. I had those guys those both years. Whatever I put on this board, got 4 or 5 guys that's ready to get to it. And it just boosted intensity, it boosted training. So 2017, I had like, there were kids too. They were like 17, 16 years old, suffering. They were suffering. I was like, this is what I want to do. They were like, I don't want to do this, but like, they were fans. They love Easy. They were like big brother, like whatever. Like,
yeah, you were rich to them in this scenario, right?
Yeah. So they were all about, where is that video from? Oh, that's the games.
Bro, that's dope.
That is cool.
You're really big, man. I mean, I wanted to go back a little bit more about just you mentoring young black men, like you were saying. How does that correlate with your non-for-profit Project Onyx?
Yeah. So recently, we're going to convert Project Onyx to Forging Youth Resilience.
Forging Youth
Resilience. FIRE. It's a nonprofit that's been in the CrossFit space. It's much bigger than Project Onyx. It allows me to reach more youth, more people, engage with more, bring in more awareness to the nonprofit. So we're going to be a FIRE chapter, powered by Project Onyx is what we're probably going to do. This is my first time ever talking about it to anyone. So they reached out to me, and they've always been wanting to partner with me just because of my influence in the space, but as well of the work that I was doing personally. And so I'm not going to say I was skeptical because I knew what they stood for and I knew their mission was similar to ours, but I was just kind of like, I'm invested where I'm invested. And I never wanted anyone to overshadow my purpose and what I want to do, which means it's like Project Onyx was ran by 2 black men. We brought on people on the board that was very, very diverse to make sure things, everyone that we brought on the board, I had pretty much vetted throughout the years of me knowing them. I knew their perspectives were different than mine. I knew they viewed things different than me. I knew they led with love no matter what. I know they cared to impact the community. I knew their upbringing was drastically different than mine. So I knew a lot of the things that we got to when we got to a board meeting, it was going to be everyone's different perspectives that will get us to the right place of where we need to be. But it was ran by 2 black men. And so I thought that was important because for me to do what I'm doing, I want young black boys to see black men in positions of power that can make calls, that can support them, guide them, and lead them. And that then when they see it, they're like, okay, it's no coincidence that most of my kids want to own gyms. You know, like, and so Project Onyx was like, it was my calling that I postponed for too long. I didn't want to serve anyone else because all of the resources that I started acquiring, all of the contacts and connections that I started to build, it's like, I'm going to use them for my nephews. Like, I'm going to use them for my family. Like, a lot of things like mission trips I didn't really believe in. I'm not going to say I didn't believe in. I understood why people were doing it. It just wasn't for me.
Sure.
Like, I didn't want to go overseas. It's like, we can go right down here to Kansas
You're
City.
like, I know some people here in town
So we can go right down the street and serve these kids, right? Why does your church want to take people over to Africa to do work? It's like, your church is in Kansas City. Do you know there's hoods, slums, ghettos, projects in Kansas City? Why don't your church just do the work here? So those kids have you no matter what. They know they have that resource. You go to Africa, once you leave, it's like, now what? And so a lot of things that I was, in my mind, I was like, no, like, I understand why you do it. Y'all do what y'all do, but I'm using my resources for my nephews. I'm not doing anything else until I can get a hold of them. And, after like the pandemic and everything that happened in CrossFit, it was just like, I need to stop waiting. Like, this is what God called me to do, and this is what I believe I'm here for, is to serve these kids and make sure young black men, young black boys see young black men in that position and provide them with resources. And so once I partnered with my guy, Pat Ford, who's a doctor of physical therapy and in the CrossFit space, he brought me the idea. I just ran with it. I was like, let's do it. Right now, I'm forging with we're forging with Resilience so that I can help them grow, build brand awareness, and then I can outreach kids in other cities and states.
I love that, man.
So, can you explain the program real quick? Like, what specifically are you guys bringing people, kids in, you know, from underprivileged neighborhoods and like, you know, putting them through workouts? Are you being mentors towards them?
Everything.
Yeah. Whatever
they need from me, I'm willing to provide.
Very cool.
So Project Onyx, basically, the way we started it was, we bring kids in and we give them fitness. That's the base of it. That's the outlook. These kids can't afford it. They get it for free. Along with that, we have group discussions every class. Random questions. How's life? Every time you walk up to somebody, hey man, how you doing, bro? Oh, I'm good. No, you're not. Give me exactly what's going on.
Mm-hmm. I want the long answer.
Right? And we have these group discussions to see how they are dealing with things and to give them perspective, to give them a space to speak that's safe, where they know they can speak their mind, exactly what they feel and what's going on, and have peers that will support them, love them, and guide them through whatever they're going on. The reason we do that is because when I was a kid, I knew what was going on in Columbus, Ohio. My daughter now knows what's happening in Chicago. She knows what's happening in LA. She knows what's happening in East St. Louis. She knows what's going on in the world. She knows what's happening with Israel and Gaza and Palestine. Like, she knows so much information that will mold her thoughts and put her in a state that she's like, what do we do? When it's like, you don't need to worry about that. But all of it plays a factor on her process, how she thinks, her perspective of life and the world and people in general, whether it be a perspective of people that are in government or whether it be a perspective because you're white and she's black. It just starts molding kids, and they don't know how to sometimes deal with all this information that's being given to them. So it's like, we're going to come in, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the situation that's happened over in Israel in Palestine. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get perspective. We're going to get understanding. And we're going to let you voice things that may be going on. We're going to talk about Black Lives Matter. We're going to talk about Trump. We're going to talk about things that you're hearing and how people are pushing things onto you as a child to let you deload these things and give you perspective and feedback. With that being said, yes, my perspective is probably slightly different. But it's the perspective of a Black man that's been through what you're going through. So therefore you'll have a fine understanding of like where you're at. And at the end of the day, I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just trying to give you perspective. Your views are going to be your views.
Yeah, safe space for them to process it too. Right?
I don't care if you're Islam, Muslim, Christian, Buddha. I don't care if you're atheist and just kind of don't believe in God. I don't care. I'm just going to give you perspective and understanding, and we're going to have the conversation. And I'm going to make sure you feel safe in this space to voice whatever you're going through, whatever you're feeling. It can be stuff at home with your parents. It can be stuff that you've never told anyone and you just held in. We want you to voice these things, and you need someone that's going to help guide you and give you resources, if you need them, to put you in the best possible position you can be in. After we get done with that, we then go to the board for working out. Sometimes we don't even get to a workout. Sometimes it's that deep where we just like, let's go get food. Mm-hmm. Let's just go eat and kick it.
Exhausting conversations, right?
Oh, it's tough.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is what I'm put here for. Right. I'm put here to father these kids and make sure they have someone to talk to, uncle status. Like, we're just like, I can't tell my parents. I'll talk to my uncle about it, and so we do that. We then give them free access to fitness. We teach them how to work out, train, the basics, methodology of CrossFit and fitness, because that's what we believe in. And after we get done working out, training, sweating, having some fun, and then that's the other thing.
That's your boy again, right?
No, that's not my son.
Okay.
That's one of the kids. I was all my nonprofit kids.
Camaraderie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so good to get,
It's fun, man.
So that's the other thing, right? Where it's just like the same thing that we get from the gym, we give to them. They get from the gym. And so after we get done working out and training, we have a company called Fresh Fit Meals that's based in Des Moines. They're in Urbandale, Iowa, and they're in Ankeny, Iowa. Huge company. I mean, not huge, but they do well. I went to them.
Prepared meals.
They prepare meals. Went to them, talked to them about what we're doing, and they were like, whatever you need, easy. We'll donate meals. They donate like 50, 60 meals a week.
Oh, that's awesome.
For the kids to just be like, yo, we got 3 meals a day. We can grab some meals, take them home. After training, we can eat. Those kids come to my gym. Class starts at 4 or 5 p.m. They won't leave till like 9. It's just their space. It's just safe. Don't get me wrong. I don't have my gyms anymore. We closed them down, but we're in the revamp of finding another facility for them closer to the inner city.
It feels like a boys and girls club kind of vibe.
That's it. It's just like, I just want these kids to have a space to be safe. Learn that you don't have to work out because you play sports, but you need to work out because it's going to keep you healthy. It's going to prolong life. It's going to mentally, physically, spiritually, everything. Working out does it all. It's the first step of health and wellness to me. Like, I don't care what you say. You can't pray yourself out of a fight. So if you think spiritual health is it, it's like, go for it. Somebody's probably gonna whoop on you, and you ain't gonna know what to do. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, okay, you think mental health is this place? Go for it. Like, you can be mentally clear and physically weak. It's like our world is ran by dominant men who physically will destroy you if you're not prepared. Like, physicality is the place to start. Your body starts changing, your mind starts changing, your spirit starts changing, your everything starts altering. But like, I don't care who you talk to, anyone that trains physically to a certain, like, that works their body out on a day-to-day basis, everything starts molding after that. The discipline, the consistency, the focus, like, it all just starts coming into place, and you're physically prepared. So I lean more on the physical side of things, especially with men. You give a man money or change his body, his confidence is going to build. He's going to start focusing more. He's going to show the discipline and consistency in other areas of his life. So for me, it was just like, all right, let's start training, because that was the number one thing to me. I can't tell you who to believe in. I can't bring you into my program and be like, Jesus Christ is the way. But if you watch me close enough, you'll start to learn who it is. You'll start to learn certain beliefs. And men are very, very, like, we are creatures of light. When we see a man that's living the life, doing the thing, we will replicate that to a heartbeat. Women are not the same. But men will see a man like, oh, he got a suit on, he got money, he got this, he got that. Oh, he's a Christian. Like, oh, like he trains and works out. Boom, blueprint, got it. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna do that.
Like, it's just the way we're molded.
Do you remember?
Right?
Do you remember that movie? Was it The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith and his son?
Yeah.
And he was like, he saw a guy in a suit, a nice car, a big black guy, walks out. He goes, "Sir, what do you do? What do you do for a living? And how do I start?"
That's it.
And that's all he did.
It was the same thing in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
He was like,
I quit.
Is that your car?
I quit my job right now.
You show me your check, and I quit right now.
I work for you.
That's it. Like, it's just the way we function. And so, in the program, we try to make sure. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's so complex, but we try to make sure the basis is like we got kids that can work out and learn how to eat clean and take care of their bodies and give them a space that's safe. That's the base of it. Anything else we start adding to it. So like a couple kids wanted to be videographers and photographers.
Gets really individual after that.
Yeah, went and got them cameras, went and purchased, mics and lighting and all that stuff for them. They did good. They actually were at the Monsters games helping out Dylan, doing photography there. They do a lot of my content on social media. They mic me up and get all that stuff and play around. They start doing weddings so they can make money on the side. They've created their own little business.
Side hustle.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
like
YouTube
like
and all that.
We took one of them was like, man, like I was trying to explain to him, like, everybody's hustle looks different. So like, don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Just get started on what you need to do. He was just like, man, I need to figure something out. I was like, hey, listen, we're going to go downtown. He was like, for what? I was like, get your camera. We're going to go downtown. I'm going to write up a sign. I'm going to stand out there with a sign. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't need to do this. I don't get any money from this, but it's just being invested. If you're going to be invested, be invested. I go downtown, stand out with a sign, free pictures, follow this Instagram page. If you want to make a donation, this is to my nonprofit. No. Got these kids out here. It's like 9:00 at night. We downtown Des Moines taking photos of people. They're just stopping, asking questions. I'm explaining to them. Step to the side, take a photo, stand in the middle of the street. Boom, 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 boom. We'll post them on Instagram. You can make a donation if you want to. And they made probably like $200.
That's awesome.
It's awesome,
and it was just like, now you know. All you got to do is to go. Like, don't wait for people. Don't
ask permission.
Like all this stuff. I've never been in a podcast room like this. I'm about to start a podcast at my house. What do you think it's going to be? My cell phone, a tripod, a light, and I'm ready to roll. 2 mics. Who wants to get on? But it's like, I'm not waiting to invest in all of this stuff and get everything legit and learn how to work it. It's just like, I'm just going to put the content out, and as it grows and as people like it, I'll start investing in it more. And it was just like that with the kids, where it was just like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to be? Like, and how can I facilitate that? I don't care what your parents want you to do. What do you want to do?
It's also just about removing limiting beliefs, like that CrossFit coach did for you.
That's it.
Where he was like, you could go to the games. You do that to one kid, and you know.
Listen,
and then facilitate it by getting them the supplies to do it, and then you also removed the belief of like it has to be perfect. So you're like, hey man, Nike had it right the first time. Just do it.
Yeah,
just go.
So
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go. We got to swing.
That's how we are with the nonprofit. And so basically, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be Forging Youth Resilience, powered by Project Onyx, so we can keep the title of Project Onyx. It's going to be Forging Youth Resilience Des Moines or whatever, or Iowa, whichever the state is. But we're in the process of changing that right now, because Forging Youth Resilience does the same work that we do. They have chapters. They are invested.
Infrastructure built in.
And it's just, we didn't have a blueprint.
Right.
We were just winging it kind of deal. Like, when we started a nonprofit, we raised a lot of money, and we were investing that money into these kids as much as possible. We took 20, 30 kids to the CrossFit Games.
Cool.
Like,
so cool.
Kids have been to my seminars. They've traveled. They've done everything. Like, we
They go to the CrossFit Games, they're probably like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah. It was so much fun, man. And of course, they're like, easy, you do this?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, man. Like, because they've never seen me at that capacity.
Yeah.
Sure.
Then they start seeing me compete, and they're like, man, our coach is good. Listen, 2020? It was either 2020 or 2021. I was like, man.
Probably 21, because the COVID year was messed up.
Yeah. I was like, man, I think I'm done. Like I was like, I'm just getting a little tired. I think I'm done. Went to my nonprofit kids and we're sitting down chatting about life, and they asked me like, you know, what's next? And I was like, I don't know, but I think I'm gonna step away from CrossFit for a while. Like I'm just, after 2020 and everything happened, you know, with the racial slurs and, you know, Black Lives Matter and things was happening, I was just kind of like, I don't know if I really want to be in this space like that. Like I might step away for a while. And one of my kids was like, if you're not here, who do we look up to? And I was like, damn.
Yikes.
Yeah. I was like,
damn.
I was like, you got a point. He was like, yeah, man, like there's black athletes, but none of them are you. They don't speak up like you. They don't stand out like you. They're not you. Like people don't deliver what you deliver for the community and for people that look like us. And I was just like, yeah, man. I was like Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not going no fucking where.
I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, man. Like
I ain't leaving.
I was like, I'll be here.
Yeah.
I'll stick around for a while, and I like CrossFit. I enjoy the space a lot. But
and didn't you last year? Didn't you compete as a masters athlete?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I finished top 10, and then they DNF my video, and then dropped me to 18th.
Really?
Yeah. So
why did you go out of frame or something? Because man,
goblet squats. They said my goblet squats. I didn't open up my hips all the way, or open up my knees all the way. And, yeah, I didn't lock my knees out all the way. I was just like, CrossFit's always doing like.
Bro, we had a couple of people on, a couple of competitors. Tell this story, Kyle. You know this detail better than I do. But
what?
like the appeal of the video, and they actually won.
You probably know Toya Nelson.
With Toya Nelson and
they competed at the games with a team a couple years ago, and they basically.
This is the year where like you had to train at your own gym, and you had to have all the footage from like you at your
You
gym.
had to have like a certain amount.
This was a team.
They were saying that they were from two different gyms, right? Because Toya coached at a different gym. She's like, I don't train at that gym. I have a job at that gym, and so they had to submit. How many hours.
It was like
Yeah,
200 videos. It was like something asinine of what they had to submit to like prove that
they trained together every day,
training with each other. Yeah, dude. It was an unbelievable, like, because like, dude, you know, I felt like they got DQ'd or something the year prior too, or something. It was like they were about to not get it over something like a technicality, and they freaking won. So
the filming,
the
filming aspect of CrossFit in the lowest portions of the qualification process leaves a little something to be desired. I think if it were up to me, what I would do is I'd take guys like you. I'd take guys that were the upper echelon, because really what we're talking about, what you said earlier about people have no idea how much the difference between like, you know, the top 1,000 CrossFit athletes in America, if you pull each one of those people out and put them in a random gym, they are going to smoke just everybody in the gym. They're ridiculous athletes. But then you take the top 100 and the difference between that,
unbelievable.
Dude, it's so crazy.
Listen,
it's so crazy.
You take the top 12 individual CrossFit Games athlete versus the rest of the field, there's a huge difference.
Huge.
Like I always tell people, like I will always have a workout or two.
Yeah.
Like there will always be something where it's just like, okay,
this one's up my alley.
Yeah, Easy's going to destroy most people in this workout. And I've seen it happen where my first event back was in Madrid, and I went to Madrid and I'm like, I'm in no type of shape to be competing. I haven't competed as an individual in like 2 years. And it was like a clean double under, like a heavy clean. The last barbell was like 315. And I destroyed everyone in that event. But it was just like heavy barbells and double unders. Like, yeah, you know, like there's not many people even at the top tier level that can beat me when it comes to heavy barbell moving and like a skill like that.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, like I still have that, but like overall fitness, like I don't have a chance. Like there's the dudes in the top 12, top 10. The rest of the field, you don't have a chance. They are overall fit at everything.
Yeah.
And they catch on to shit so fast.
It's wild.
It doesn't matter what you put in their way. They're going to sit in the back as they're warming up, analyzing, figuring stuff out. And when they go on the floor, you're going to be like, oh, they must have did that before. No, this is their first time.
Yeah.
They just catch on to stuff that fast. They're just that fit that they can figure things out. And I mean, like, it's amazing and it's crazy how fast the sport is moving now.
Yeah, you're saying, like, dude, they're passing the torch. You know what I'm saying?
But what they should do, as far as like structure goes, I think that if you had like, you know, a qualification where you got a pro card and that pro card was good for like 2 or 3 years, so you didn't have to continuously requalify through the open. So you could basically, and then let's say there was like, you know, events like, you know, Monster Games or like, you know, any different event like that you could go in and win. There's a pro division in that. If you have a pro card, you can enter that, you know, that competition and compete as a pro, but you don't have to go through the, you know,
the rigmarole.
It just would make it more like a professional sport.
Yeah.
I think.
I think in the future they're going to figure something out. I mean, these guys that own CrossFit now, they're gonna figure something.
They're savvy. You know?
Yeah, they're gonna figure something out.
And I was mentioning it. Go ahead.
Oh, and I'm saying it's going to constantly keep evolving and changing. People just got to be ready for the change. Like I always tell people, like when they got to when they cut regionals.
Yeah,
I was pissed.
Same. I didn't like that at all.
I was like, regionals, that's where I survive.
Yeah.
That's where I thrive at. You know what I'm saying? In-person competition is where I can, like, if I'm trained and prepared, when I get in person, it's like, it's game on. The open, I'm like, yo, I don't do good online, bro. Like, so when they cut that, I was pissed, but I understood the business model, understood the evolution of our sport and it constantly changing and growing and then figuring things out. And then they get it and it's like, okay, this is the next 10 years. Like, this is how it's going to be. And so, like, at the end of the day, once the call is made, it's like it is what it is. I wish they would find something like that and stick with it for a little bit so that we can figure out. But when it was the open regionals games, it's like once I saw the process, I trained and prepared for I know what it is.
Right.
As they kept evolving it and changing it, it's like, okay, like
keep moving that goalpost.
What's
because
cool,
I'm not a top 10 athlete.
Yeah.
I'm a top 20 athlete. I'm not a top 10 athlete. So therefore, the difference is drastically different when it comes to fitness level for me versus for the other guys. Those guys are going to make it. Mm-hmm. Like I can name off probably 10 guys, no matter how you structure the open, regionals, quarterfinals, semifinals,
they'll be there.
Sectionals, whatever you want to put in, they're going to make it. Mm-hmm. No matter what region they're in, they're going to punch that ticket. There's no one that can bang with them in any place of the world. They're going to qualify. And then there's guys that's like myself, where it's like you need the right scenario, you need the right process, you need things to align. And even though if I go to a local comp, I'm gonna destroy most of them. If I go to a big comp, I'm gonna do pretty well. When it comes to the process of qualifying for the games, it's like, what's the layout? I need the format. Right. I need it to be a certain way so I can prepare for that. But you got some guys that just fit. They're just fit.
And CrossFit is cool because it's like, anybody can qualify for it. From the outside looking in. Yeah. But once you get into it, you're like, nah, not anybody can qualify for it. Yo. It's not like somebody's randomly going to be like, oh yeah, I think I'm going to try CrossFit this year. Maybe I can make the games.
Yeah, it ain't not, like, don't get me wrong.
There are freaks.
Back in 2010, there is not one person that I believe can say in their first year of doing CrossFit.
Yeah.
I don't care if they started right after the games where they have the full year. In their 1 year of just specifically doing CrossFit to prepare for the CrossFit games will qualify for the CrossFit games. I do not care what your background is in. If you do not do CrossFit, you're not prepared.
Yeah. Right.
You're not going to qualify. And now if they've been doing CrossFit on and off for multiple years and they specialize in like a high rocks competition or like they specialize in bodybuilding, but they dabble into CrossFit for years. Yeah, I can see that. But like you're telling me a guy that just is a elite runner or just is an elite gymnast or just is an elite weightlifter that is a freak of nature, a really good athlete, in tune, mentally tough, been in the military, but whatever you want to add to this guy's personnel. Totally. If he has not been doing CrossFit, he ain't getting to the games. No. He ain't banging with those dudes.
No.
Like I don't believe it's possible.
I think Matt Frazier was the only one that you heard stories of him just being like, I'll enter this local competition, and he wasn't like training CrossFit specifically.
But he was doing CrossFit.
Was he doing CrossFit?
He was working out, doing CrossFit Metcons, jumping in the class. His body was getting an understanding of CrossFit.
This is the way it goes.
And when he jumped in, don't get me wrong, you do have those freak guys like Rich Froning who did CrossFit for a year and a half, 2 years, went to the games, got second. you have those guys. You have Andy Thor's daughter who did CrossFit went to the games and then came back and won it. You have those people more on the men's side than female. But like what I'm saying is like the sport has evolved drastically.
Yeah.
Those anomalies you're not going to see as frequent anymore.
The amount of athletes that have been training for years and years and years
I mean,
now.
they literally have been doing it since they were like 10 now.
And they're getting better at a rate that is like you can't comprehend. Like when I see these guys on social media, I look at them on social media and I'm like, damn. But then I see them in person and I'm like, yo, it's going to be hard to beat that dude.
That's a little different. It feels like now.
Yes.
We have Jacob Hebner.
Yeah.
We had him on the podcast and he talked to us about Olivia Kerstetter. Did I say her last name right? Kerstetter. And she's 17 and she won the teen games.
Yeah.
Did
she
not?
competed in the open CrossFit games this year.
At 17.
Yeah. Mal O'Brien.
I mean, he probably knows.
Oh, yeah, that's wild.
I coached Mal O'Brien when she was 14, 15.
That's
and then when she was 14, 15, I told her, I was like, you're cut from you're cut from the Fraser Froning, Andy Thor's daughter cloth.
Yeah.
That is the cloth you're cut from. Kid, trust me, I've seen it. I've been on the team with Andy Thor's daughter and Matt Fraser. I've trained with Froning. I've seen it. I had a front row seat of like these people engaging with them, talking to them, hanging out with them, spending time with them. You are cut from that cloth. And sure enough, 4 years later, she's right there, second at the games. You know what I'm saying? Projected to win the year that she withdrew and came out and, stepped away from it.
This would be a good question for you then. Since you coached her at that age, right? We know how intense high level CrossFit training is.
Yeah.
Do you think that it negatively impacted her? And that's why she was like, I got to pull out.
I don't know. I never asked her.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to her. I sent her a message. Just told her like, hey, I love you. Hope you're doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Hope everything's okay. If you need anything when you're home, I'm here. She responded, said, thank you. Everything's going to be okay. I said, it will. Just take your time. And I didn't care why she did it.
She's still only like 20.
I didn't care why she did it.
Yeah.
I was like, me and her have had that conversation where I was like, yo, you're 14. Go be a kid for a little bit. She's like, I don't want to. I want to win the CrossFit Games.
I get it.
I was like,
that's like somebody coming to you at 14 and be like, stop playing so much basketball.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like, I couldn't do anything but respect it. But I also, as her coach and as an adult, was like, I don't like it. Like, and I'm not going to say I pushed her away, but I was just kind of like, I'm not in agreement to you training at this capacity all year round. The games are over. You got fourth place as a 14-year-old kid. Congratulations. Stay out of the gym. Just a couple months. Go to the movies. Go hang out with girls. Go shopping. Just go do things. She was like, no. Like, I want to win the CrossFit Games. And like, it was like, every time she came in the gym, I was just like frustrated and bothered because I'm like, I'm not going to tell you to not.
Yeah.
That you can't, like, when you come to the gym, I'm not going to be like, you got to leave. But I don't have to like
it's
it.
so hard to tell who's like a savage and they need that. You need to keep feeding them, or the person that's like, you need to hit the brakes on them.
I don't think anyone needs to be fed that. I think there's a point where it's just like, hey, like, you make your own decisions.
Yeah, that's true.
If you want to be in the gym, be in the gym. When she came to the gym, I left.
Yeah.
If you want to be in the gym, cool. I would leave my own gym and just be like, go grab some lunch or go chill. I don't want to be in the space with you because I don't want you here. And I don't think you need to be here. I think you need to take time off and be a kid. So
was it a mental health or was it a physical health thing for you with her?
It wasn't a physical thing. She was more than capable. And she's like,
it's just a burnout thing.
I don't even think it's a burnout thing. I don't even know if it's a burnout thing, man. I don't know. With her, it was weird because like I trained with her and by myself. So I was doing more work than her. I think maybe it's like the pressure. Maybe it's just like the expectation of what's getting to you. Like, you gotta remember, you got sponsorships, endorsements. She's 19 years old, probably making well over six figures. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what it was. I didn't ask her because I didn't care. I was like, I don't care. You stepped away. I'm proud of you for making that decision because most people can't and they won't. They will continue to drive themselves crazy or do whatever they think is right because they're getting paid that much money. And like, she doesn't need the money. Like, her family's well off. She's okay. Like, but like people won't make that decision. And in my position, I wouldn't make that decision. Why? Because I come from an environment where it's like, it's all or nothing. I got to get the job done. I got to do this. I don't have time to be depressed. I don't got time to be stressed out and be like, you know what, I can't do this. No, I got to keep grinding. There is no depression for me. Like I don't have the luxury of being like, I'm depressed and I just need time to myself. No, I don't. She had that time and she made that call. And I think at 18 years old, bless her. Like perfect decision. You will be okay. And you can come back to this at any time in your life that you want to.
Right.
I didn't ask her why. I didn't care why. I just said, if you need me, I'm here.
Yeah.
Like,
I hope she does come back, dude.
It was just a great call.
Tons of talent.
That workout where she beat Tia with the muscle ups and it was muscle ups and overhead squat. No, thrusters is what she's good at. Muscle ups and thrusters. That was like one of the coolest event wins. And at the time, she was 18, correct?
Yeah.
She was like the youngest competitor on the floor
and
by far.
And we had to talk. Like we had to talk. I was like, you're cut from Nanny Thor's daughter, Matt Frazier, Rich Fronting Cloth, without a doubt. I see it. I see it very, very vivid. I know. Now, with that being said, we had to talk because Haley Adams was the prodigy kid at first, where she was the youngest to qualify for the games for females and stuff like that. And I was like, you can beat Haley Adams now. She's like, I want to be like Haley. And I'm like, you can be better than Haley. Like I can see through Haley's movement, her mechanics, her like the way she's built her structure, like things like that. Like you're more developed than her at a younger age. And like you have the capacity to be that plus more. And it's just crazy. Like they're best friends. And we used to talk about Haley all the time. She loved Haley Adams. Like she loved that girl. Like her and Katrin, she loved them. But Haley was like I want to meet her and I want to and now they're best friends. And I'm just proud of you, kid. Like, I don't care about, listen, man. Like, I don't care what the world expects you to be. Like, you be true to yourself. You do it for you. You make yourself proud. And if stepping away from the sport at the time where you were projected to win and you were supposed to, if that was the time to step away, that was the time to step away.
Yeah, that was a crazy call. The year that Tia wasn't competing, everyone was.
Oh, Mal's gonna win it. Mal's gonna win it.
She's a shoo-in. It's for sure.
No one can beat her. And I was like, I think you could beat Tia.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, I'm biased, super biased. You know what I'm saying? I used to coach the girl. You know what I'm saying? I hung out with her for 2.5 years. Like, you know, so like a super biased about it. But I was just like, I see it, yo. Like, man, like being behind closed doors with Froning, you know, like being like, you just like, yeah, nobody's going to beat that dude.
Mm-hmm. And you know what it looks like.
And I know what it looks like. Yeah. Like I was on a team with Frazier. I roomed with him. We hung out. We spent time together. We traveled together. We kicked it. And you start seeing it like, yeah, nobody's gonna beat that. That dude's he's gonna put a hurting on.
It seems like he's always just, if he's not, it's like he's always thinking about working out or always thinking, you know, about the next workout, about the next training thing. It's like he's very focused. It seems like.
Like those dudes are like, I don't know. It's cool to see, man. It's cool to be a spectator of the sport, like be a fan of the sport. You know, like I'm an athlete, but like a lot of these athletes, like I fanboy over. I'm like, dang, like I know exactly what you're going through. I know exactly how much effort you're putting in to be what you are, to be that fit. Mm-hmm. And most people aren't willing to do it.
Yeah, the game recognizes game.
For sure. That is the kind of cool thing about CrossFit. It's like, you know, I grew up playing football. I played football in junior college, and I can look at an NFL player and somewhat know what he's doing, but not exactly. But when I look at a CrossFit athlete, I know exactly what they're doing, but like 10 times more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it is a cool like connection that you have with the people that can compete at the highest levels. You know?
Yeah, like I don't know what it was with Mal. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't really care, but like. When you watch her in training, you're just like
freak.
The ultimate, she's different.
Yeah, like she got it. And then sure enough, a few years later, I mean, she was already a 2 times games athlete before she, you know what I'm saying? Like she was 16, she went in open division. Like she didn't even,
it's wild.
She didn't even do 16, 17.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Haley won 16-17. I think twice.
Yeah.
I think Haley won the games twice at 16-17, and then when she turned 18, went to the open division. Mal didn't even do 16-17. She sat out 1 year for her 16-17. She was at the games as an individual.
That's crazy.
Silly, dude.
It's crazy, right? Like
Crazy.
You this is the question we usually wrap our show up with.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know how often you've been to Kansas City.
You spend much time in Kansas City?
Yeah, a little bit. I've been here a few times.
You did the Warhorse games when I was. I competed in the Warhorse games. And I think you were in like the pro division, so you were in Kansas City for that.
Did that. I came down here for it's a gym called CrossFit Believe. I think.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
They had a little competition. Came down, did that. I got a seminar not too far from here in February, I think. So I'll be back for that.
Very cool. Keep us posted on that.
First Form. Are they?
They're in St. Louis.
St. Louis. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Other side of the state.
for that.
But
yeah, I've been around here.
The city is known for its barbecue. And with that being said, are you a fan of barbecue?
Brisket, baby.
Do you got a spot? Are you looking for a spot?
No, I am looking for a spot. We're gonna go see the can't remember what it's called, but it's like the Christmas lights. That's
Enchant. Yeah. Are you guys doing Enchant?
Is that what it is?
It's like a
mall that's lit up with Christmas lights.
Oh, dude,
you're gonna go to the Plaza.
The Plaza.
Yeah, the Plaza lights. That's cool.
We're gonna go do that, and then we're
outdoor
gonna
mall.
We're gonna ice skate.
Oh, dope!
Sick,
I've never
man.
been ice skating before.
Oh, dude. So you guys, you're gonna go to Crown Center to ice skate. It sounds like you're gonna go to the Crown Center area. There is a great barbecue spot with great brisket there.
Okay, talk to me.
That is called
Jack Stack's right there.
No, bro, it's one on 119th in Metcalf, right next to Burn-In Barbecue.
No, dude, go
Yes.
to Jack Stack. You'll be down by Crown Center.
Jack Stack.
Jack Stack
is the
they're in the
like,
Freight House district.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's also Burn-In Barbecue. Don't let Kyle talk you out of it because do you like cornbread?
Yeah, absolutely,
Bro.
absolutely.
This
Just
place,
the biggest cornbread fan.
this place has this very unique thing. All right. Burn-In Barbecue has cornbread croutons that are like for salads, right? But they're like soft and they sell them separately. That's like you get like 5 in a bag.
Soft. Listen,
They're like legit little miniature cornbread cubes, bro. They're
do.
unbelievable.
I don't like croutons because they're hard.
Right.
So if they're soft.
They're just little cornbread muffins that are this big, but
I'm game.
they're ridiculous. They're so
What's
good.
the place called?
Burn-In Barbecue, and it's in Crown Center
Okay.
versus near Crown Center.
Yeah, I was about to say, but if you want like the
You're already
ambiance,
traveling a lot, you know.
The Jack Stack's got the ambiance, and it's also
Jack Stack is very much ranked as like a top spot in Kansas City. Like me, look at those, dude. Look at those. Look how golden brown those are, dude. Come on,
Those look pretty good.
they're silly, dude. They're silly.
I could do that.
That butter's never not melted when you get it too.
real quick, is
That's
corn?
that's brisket right there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dude,
boy.
it's the shit, man.
Jack Stack.
Jack Stack.
Hey, but we love Jack Stack
Jack
as well
Stack's
here. We
fun.
talk about it often on the podcast.
You got to have burn-ins, dude. If you
pork.
Oh, okay. No. Well, they have beef. They have beef burn-ins.
Oh,
yeah,
sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
and they'll specify which is which. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
But bro, the Jack Stack's wings we think are like the best wings in Kansas City. If
They're
you like
so
wings,
I have to do that.
what were you asking, Kyle?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh, well, dude. Oh, you're asking about cornbread.
No, I'm letting that go.
No. You think what do you want to ask you specifically was
Is cornbread is it a Thanksgiving food?
Do you serve is cornbread a
Did you eat
Thanksgiving
cornbread
side?
at Thanksgiving?
I think we did. Yeah. I think
I tried to sell them on
it's not. It's
cornbread's not even a traditional Thanksgiving side. I'm like, yes, it is.
I think it is. I think it is a traditional Thanksgiving side.
I looked it
dude.
up.
And
I
good
looked
for-
at
and a- and a good-
Wikipedia,
at
dude.
a good Thanksgiving,
and it was like anything corn is. Oh, Thanksgiving.
I think we
side.
did
if you
have
can
cornbread.
corn it, it's for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hey, real quick, I just want to plug Forging
Yeah,
Resilience.
plug whatever you want, man.
Don't even real quick.
Yeah.
Do it real slow.
Yeah.
Forging Youth Resilience is a nonprofit. If you're listening to this podcast, please go support. You can find more information at forgingyouthresilience.org, I think it is. I just partner with them and looking to do big things in this year. We'll be down at Wadapalooza. I'm going to teach 9 snatch clinics down there at Wadapalooza just to kind of raise funds and, talk more about it. Strike Movement, Easy Muhammad Hayes trainers. If you don't have them, go get them. Best shoe in the fitness industry.
Can they find these on your Instagram page?
Find them on my Instagram page.
What's your ad for everybody?
My ad on Instagram is Elijah Easy Muhammad. That is my shoe right there. Yep. Elijah Easy Muhammad right there. You can follow me on IG. That black photo will drop down to the black ones right there. Yep. Those are the Easy Muhammad Hayes trainers, the Swayze. All right, those are the Swayzes, all black suede shoe. They have a
you get those,
flat bottom, hard rubber.
You get those.
Great for training in plyometrics, squatting, weightlifting, everything like that. On the back, you got the EM futuristic logo on the back of the shoe.
Does that photo go left to right?
I got your old buddy's shoes on right now.
The Fronings.
Fronings.
Yeah, I bought a pair. I bought a pair of Fronings just to support him because that's my brother at always, no matter what. It's always love with him. But yeah, that if you don't have a training shoe, if you don't have a shoe that you love, try out those Easy Muhammad Hayes trainers. They're the best thing on the market. The other thing was lift heavy, often weightlifting. Run seminars, Olympic style weightlifting, snatch and clean and jerk. Trying to get people more invested. Lift heavy often as an everyday is the Instagram page. You can check that out. You click that link, easymuhammad.com. When you go to that link, it'll bring up my website. Once you hit online programming, host a seminar. Hit host a seminar. Boom, you hit host a seminar, lift heavy often weightlifting seminars and training camps. The Unorthodox Training Camp is a training camp with my methodology, everything that I do to implement in your training. You can just fill that information out. Once you put that information out, it come to me, and then we'll start opening up the doors of like times, dates, things like that, and what those entail. The Lift Heavy Often Weightlifting Seminar is just basically for coaches, general population, elite athletes, anything like that. It is to teach you why weightlifting is a phenomenal foundation and why you should be using that tool in your training regularly. We go through the basic mechanics of squatting, snatch, clean and jerk. We have lifting sessions, and then I just give you the why behind everything we do, because there is a why behind everything we do. And the more you know the why, the more you can understand it. But that's it. Yeah, Lift Heavy Often Weightlifting Seminars. Check that out. easymuhammad.com if you're just looking for some good content, having fun and stuff like that.
I want to see him lift more weight than you can lift.
Yeah. And then Easy Muhammad, the Strike Movement Hayes. Oh my God. Easy
That's
Muhammad
the one, dude.
We all start somewhere.
Yo, that was yeah, bro.
How about
A
that?
little bit better positioning now.
Yeah, I know. That was my level 1. That's when I got my level 1 in 2010.
That's incredible, dude.
And the other photo was at a seminar in the Netherlands. That was at CrossFit Dom City.
People who might not know the amount of work that has to go into
what perseverance looks like.
Yeah, bro. It's real, man. Like it's for real, man. A lot of people they give up before they get started. And all you gotta do is just get started.
Man, Easy, it was such a pleasure having you on today,
man.
man.
Thank you so much,
It's great
dude.
getting to sit down and talk with you.
Man,
It's been awesome getting to know you.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me, man. We'll do this again.
Yeah, dude.
Definitely.
I hope you start a podcast too, man.
Yeah,
We'll come up to Des Moines and be on your podcast.
It'll be at my house. Y'all more than welcome.
Yeah.
Just kicking in the crib, come in the garage, work out a little bit.
Let's do it.
That's what's up.
And
man.
y'all got Waffle House here.
That's right.
Y'all got Waffle House.
I didn't realize it was missing in Des Moines.
Yeah.
Listen.
I'm an
Let's start a
all-star
franchise of
When she
Waffle
was-
House.
When she was a
in
baby,
Des
I took
Moines.
her every Christmas morning, and we used to go to Waffle House when she was a baby.
What do you order?
All-Star Special.
I was going to say, are you an all-star special guy?
I've
Do you
never,
keep the grits or do you replace them?
no grits.
Okay.
No, I keep the grits.
I like the hash browns covered.
Just regular hash browns for me, but I keep the grits. Add cheese in the grits. Egg scrambled cheese.
Only place that you can get cheese on your hash browns.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to do it whenever I'm there.
Double waffle for sure.
Yeah.
Double waffle. But yeah, every Christmas I used to take her to Waffle House. That was our daddy-daughter thing.
That's awesome,
That
dude.
is awesome.
Put money in the jukebox.
Yeah, Play some tunes, hang out. So anytime I get a place to go to Waffle House, I definitely slide in there. 3-hour drive from Waffle House isn't too bad.
Respect. Yeah. That's the to-go meal on the way home.
I know.
I love it,
man. Yeah, man.
You'll have to let us know what barbecue spot you choose too.
For sure. I'll do that, man. I appreciate you guys for having me on, man. This is super awesome.
Man.
Such a pleasure.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man.